Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello friends, welcome to this course on education for sustainable development. In the last class we are discussing about the peace and non-violence, and we are discussing about some of the African studies, African projects, and how they were trying, the UNESCO officials and the project researchers, they were trying to inculcate this kind of peace and non-violence education among the citizens, among the people in the society. So, what was their results? Let us see what is the results, or that the findings, that means the themes, the consensus, or you can say the outcomes of all these projects and the projects and the training and workshop is that the results are like: the education to peace, citizenship, democracy and human right is integrated into the formal and non-formal teaching and learning systems, and reinforce the mutual understanding in the social cohesions. So, the project that was started in the African countries and being sponsored by UNESCO and other funding agencies. So, at the end what happened, that what the conclusion was, that the conclusion of the project findings were like that: how to implement this kind of thought process, this kind of education, information awareness, both in the formal way and in the informal way, like that is for how to inculcate in the culture, in the cultural practices, the values of peace, citizenship, democracy, human rights, gender equality, then sharing the resources and sharing and protecting our natural resources, all kinds of things, how to incorporate it in the both in the formal learning as well as in the informal learning system, in the governance, and how to reinforce it for the mutual understanding and cohesion. So, in day to day practices, how the citizens can be motivated, can be promoted, can be motivated, encouraged to practice these things in the day to day life, even not that means beyond the classroom situations, beyond the educational institutions, that means in our business or in the business practices, in the day to day life, workplaces also, how they can that means how they can practice it, this kind of. So, for that definitely it requires a long term, long duration, long time to build, but it is a like for example, after this World War II, this Hiroshima Nagasaki things, the Japan has incorporated in the system in such a nice way that over the generation again and again, one after another generations, that they have you can say embedded in such a way in their system, in their education system, that it has become a cultural practice now. Similar for over the generation, it cannot happen overnight, it cannot happen in one generation, in one things, but over the generation, if you go on practicing this, if you go on implementing in our system like this, then after two generation or three generations, then our culture will be like that, because it becomes then a cultural features, elements and cultural practices. So, the government, so the empowerment, the civic engagement and the democratic participations of young African women and men are promoted through inclusive youth policies, youth led programs and the culture of peace. So, ultimately what happened, the African women, African citizens, they were encouraged to, that means through youth volunteers, youth groups, youth policies, youth led programs, because youth they are the leaders, you can say they are the leaders, and by mobilizing the youth, our youth resources of any country's youth by introducing different youth policies, when developing different organizations and the youth led programs, and giving them the responsibility to volunteer and engage them in various kind of the social activities, health services. So, that can actually promote the culture of peace. So, for this, we have to engage our citizens, especially the youth. So, youth, they are the leaders, they are the future, that means they are the future citizens of our future citizens, future you can say future, that means stakeholders, future that means more future leaders. So, by initiating, by mobilizing our youth, by introducing by different policies, programs, and mobilizing them, engaging them. So we can build it kind of culture of peace. And in Africa also, the after this kind of action research project, they have also blended it in their system through education, both informal way, even in media, through media also, publicizing it through media, then and nowadays this is the through now digital platform in the internet. It is again we can that means all the citizens across the globe, they can share and share their views and ideas, and get the even get the suggestions and the advice and help from other countries also. So, role of education in promoting the peace, sustainable development, and the global citizenship. So, now gradually we have to come to the concept of global citizenship. So, education for definitely ESD plays a key role in promoting the values of peace and creating the world of culture of peace that requires the involvement of all parties. That in the society, it is not the responsibility of government, or it is not the responsibility of state government, central government, or the educational institutions, etc., but it is the responsibility of every citizen, especially all the adult citizens. So, in the society, and because all of us we together we collaborate through our collaboration and cooperation, we develop the world's culture of institutions such as the United Nations system, governments, policies. Now, all these our all kinds of the global associations like the G20 countries, this summit, that summit, and then the SARC countries. So, these kind of things, organizations and etc., are the outcome of, are the result of all this global cooperation, regional cooperation, global cooperation. So, United Nations system, government, politicians. So, it is a multi-stakeholder engagement, like politicians, NGOs and the scientists, civil society, the media, then the educational institution definitely plays a very important role, then parents as the stakeholders. So, it is a multi-stakeholder responsibility, but therefore multi-stakeholder engagement. So, all the stakeholders, all the citizens, rather than all the citizens, how we can collaborate, how we can cooperate, how can we think, how can we build our society with a positive mindset, and how can we build our society and keep it together, then cohesive, etc., towards building that kind of culture and nation of nation of peace, nation of prosperity, nation of universal brotherhood. So, for that reason, global citizenship, all of the global citizenship characteristics and the features should be inculcated, incorporated in our education system. It should be nurtured among our citizens. So, therefore, that can only be possible in the multi-stakeholder partnership framework. So, now the development of the global citizenship. Although the peace education is often based on the schools and other learning environments, it should also involve the entire community. So, peace education, when we are talking about it, is not just about the school curriculum or the college curriculum or the school education or the formal syllabus, but it is about educating the whole community, educating the whole entire community, the society. So, as a peace education is not only necessity in the areas where there are conflicts, but also in all society. That means, it should be embedded in our society in such a way that every citizen, every community, every person, every individual should be conscious of developing that features, like being positive, being cool, being calm, being responsible, being generous, and being open minded in, and being helpful, being empathetic. So, all kinds of the features these are, because these positive characteristics are are the components of the peace education. By just giving developing the content and developing the books and distributing it in the schools and putting it in the syllabus will not make the society a peaceful society. It has to be reflected in our thought, in our thinking, in our emotions, in our feeling, in our behavior, in our practice, in our interaction. So, that means, like the air we breathe, the food we take, and the and the water we drink. So, everywhere it has to be there. It has to be completely that means embedded in our system, in our life. It should be a part of our life system also. Like the way we breathe air. Similarly, it has to be injected, it has to be injected in our thought process, it has to be injected in our mind, in our cognition and in our collective consciousness. So, parents are especially important for this, and they must encourage the strong family values that foster the culture of peace. So, being the global citizen, it is not bad that we are adopting some of the lifestyles, some of the things from other countries, from the West, from other, it is not a bad thing, but thing is that we must develop an attitude of being positive, being adaptive, and we are welcoming all the positive things from every culture, being culturally responsive, culturally you can culturally tolerant, culturally caring people, culturally responsible people. So, we respect every culture, but at the same time, if we want to adopt, because in the process of acculturation, definitely knowingly or unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, we are adopting some of the habits, some of the behavioral patterns, some of the thought process, etc. from the West also. There is a complete blending of mixture of East and West, North and South. That's not a bad issue. This is a good thing. The thing is that we always focus on the values which are universal values, which are positive values across the culture and caste and creed and ethnic background. So, learning the new things from others, adopting some of the Western values in our society, like in Eastern countries, our society is not a bad thing, but always we have to set up fix in our mind that we have to be positive. We have to be positive irrespective of any culture, caste, creed, etc. So, that kind of attitude, that kind of belief system, that kind of values, that kind of habits, that kind of mindset we should develop in our society, that can only bring the culture of peace. So, being positive, being tolerant, so we have to develop one by one positive characteristics, positive attributes. So, that can only establish the culture of peace. So, now in India also we have this Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education and Peace, that is MGIEP. It is being it is being sponsored by it is a part of government organizations, our government of India, and it has the you can say it has the network with it works collaboratively with UNESCO office. So, this MGIEP in India actually primarily advocates for this peace education and youth engagement, and also educational curriculum and etc. So, education ESD for like MGIEP's framework for the 21st century. What this Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education and Peace has actually designed the framework for India in 21st century, that is education, ESD and peace develops people's skill to take action that improves the quality of life now and the future generations. So, definitely their framework, this peace that means MGIEP's framework or ESD with peace along with the peace education for developmental as well as the peace, and not only it enhances the people's skills, competencies, empowers them with job skills and other kinds of skills, and but also it improves the quality of life for the present as well as for the future generation, because it establishes a kind of mutual understanding, trust, building the trust, then rapport building, then cohesiveness and team building, cooperation. So, all these kinds of things for the 21st century citizens, and it would be meaningful for MGIEP to recognize the fact that there are several crucial questions, issues facing people in all the societies, irrespective of any challenges, irrespective of any queries and any cultural and contextual and regional and language related issues, any kind of challenges, because challenges, peace can only settle down, peace can only bring the solutions. And how to achieve the peace, how to practice the peace, look like being positive, being developing positive character strength, being enhancing our skills, listening skills, tolerance, then competencies in communications, then cooperation, then collaboration. So, that is why nowadays in the 21st century we are very much advocating for learning pedagogy, that is which is more of learner center, more of problem oriented, problem centric, problem based learning, project based learning, cooperation. We are giving more emphasis to collaboration, cooperation, and in the especially in the virtual platform, also in the virtual virtual learning platform also, we are again trying to establish the networks and the learning communities, and through digital platform also, that is to bring that kind of unanimity, that cohesion, then concession, conscience and consensus, everything to resolve any kind of critical issue, any kind of dilemma, any kind of conflict, any kind of problem. So, that is the, if the approach, the strategy is the mental state and the framework is positive, that irrespective, it does not matter what happens to me or what happens to our society, any kind of disaster that we can overcome, any kind of challenge that we can mitigate, provided we are together, we are cohesive, we are dynamic, and we are tolerant, etc. So, it is putting together, because definitely individuals, every individual's effort, energy, and the collective energy and effort, that definitely the outcome will be better. But the thing is that how to put people together, build a rapport, then establish the trust among themselves and the cohesiveness. So, that is nowadays even in the organizations and educational institutions, team projects, team learning, group, then the team behavior, leadership behavior, all kinds of the things are being promoted and nurtured among the students, among the learners. So, next thing, so that is why now this includes this peace education, non-violence, and how SDG sustainable development can be possible, can be achievable through this peace education. So, how to, now we have to also include how to preserve and protect the environment, reduce the pollution, manage the natural resources in a sustainable way, how to reduce the inequalities that exist between different people in all parts of the country to protect the human rights, how to develop peaceful and harmonious communities by promoting understanding people who are different, that is people who are different from one another. That means, so in the if we try to build up an inclusive society, then we have to take care of every section, every group of people, like the children, the adult, the women, and then the rural people, then the urban people, then skilled people, educated people, then or we can say uneducated or the less literate or less educated, underskilled people, how to promote them, how to bring them to the mainstream, that by assessing their need, by educating them, by giving training, by empowering them, then facilitating them through financial resources, everything. That means, all our efforts would be mobilized, would be motivated and directed towards the collective development of our society. It is not about you and me and he or she, but it is about our people, that we feeling has to be there. So, that is why through this approach, through this positive approach, all kinds of inequalities, deficiencies can be removed, like how to reduce this inequality, not in terms of gender, but also resource, access to resource, education, health practices, services. That is why during this pandemic also, this is actually, it is, even though it is a disaster, it has also come as a blessing in disguise also, because during this because of this challenge, we have also learned, we have also updated ourselves, we have also learned certain new things, how to be that means how to be stay together, how to stay together, how to serve other, how to think about others. So, and others, we are also, that means in this process, during this process also we develop the cohesiveness and the learn about the we feeling, learn about the togetherness. Similarly, we are also very, as the during this pandemic also, as pollution level also, greenhouse effect also reduced a lot. So, how we could also learn about some of the sustainable ways of living, sustainable ways of resource utilization in a very natural process, in a sustainable way, so that we can preserve it, we can preserve it, and you can reduce some of the wastages and bad habits and the waste products. Then how to be peaceful and harmonious in communities by promoting the understanding between different communities, people, even though, because not that in our society, not only the diversity is there in terms of ethnic background or religion or beliefs and practices, but also in terms of individual capacity. So, now in our society, people are having also from the different background, and these are called the differently abled people. So, how to take care of them, how to educate them. So, it is not just about the common man, or it is not about the average population, but we should also be very careful about the differently abled people also. So, that kind of understanding, that kind of compassion, empathetic attitude, thinking for others, that also brings a kind of harmony in our society and promotes that understanding, promotes the understanding within the country. So, gradually we can now for example, during this crisis, how we share our resources, our vaccines, how India has taken responsibility of producing the vaccines and exporting to other countries, and during the wars, and during the wars and terrorism also, how our army, how our defense system are being provided with the things to combat that combat the conflict, etc. So, these are the inter-continental, inter-country and all kinds of across the globe, inter-group, inter-country, inter-continental cooperations are also there. So, in this way we can promote this attitude of global citizenship. So, how ESD has in its many forms has permeated most of the systems of education across the globe. So, similarly we have to look at the different education systems in different countries, like in European countries, Finland has a very good very healthy education system, and they are the happy people, and when the global index of gross national index, global index of happiness comes in, the education efficacy comes in the Scandinavian countries, the Finland as a country, they are in the top higher rankings, they are having the top ranks, higher ranks, because what kind of systems, what kind of practices, what kind of schedule, what kind of activities they are following. So, we have to be vigilant, we have to be observant, we have to observe all these things, because observing other countries systems, their education, their all kinds of the science, technology, innovations, we not only we learn the new things, but also we try to apply it in our case. So, there is taking nothing, there is nothing bad in accepting, in welcoming, in adopting the positive things. So, looking at or comparing our education system to other countries education system, be it European education system and or in Australian and or other countries education systems, always we can evaluate, we can learn about the new practices they are using, they are practicing, they are using, and how we can adopt these in our country, in our context, with the new education policy also, new education policy 2020. So, our all kinds of educational things have been updated, because we have to compare ourselves across the globe, that in the global context. So, to bring parity, to bring uniformity. In our, so that is this the MOOC courses, this Coursera MOOC courses, distance learning courses, again these are an effort of the government to to provide quality education, to provide the quality education to all citizens, to all stakeholders, to all learners across the country as well as across the globe. So, the primary thing is that all kinds of the workshops now in this pandemic stage, these webinars, the online conferences, virtual meetings, even international conferences. So, the basic thing is that to promote the education for international understanding. So, here the recommendation of different international conferences are like to promote education for international understanding. So, global citizenship again takes into account the education international understanding. So, the first international document giving the concrete guideline for educational authorities and practitioners on how to promote the education for international understanding on the global scale. So, that is to scale up our technology, scale up our learning system, scale up our policy and governance. So, all kinds of things, that is to bring that, to promote the international understanding. So, then what is the tool? What is the tool that would allow us to achieve such a mission? What does the education of humanity for justice and liberty and peace actually imply? So, is it mere literacy? Is mere literacy, education and bookish knowledge, information is enough, or actually anything else is required? So, it gives a special emphasis to trying to adopt a common and universal approach beyond the political ideological divisions, socioeconomic gaps and the different educational concept and strategies, that is given by Lawrence Surendra. So, that means irrespective political background, ideological background or socioeconomic background, whatever. So, we have to emphasize on to how to adopt, how to develop, how to groom, how to nurture the universal values, universal standards, universal quality, universal to fill up these kind of the gaps, all kinds of the socio-economic gaps and the political things. So, the enterprise of education, hence, and nowadays education is an enterprise, education is an social enterprise, education is an industry. It is also an industry in the sense that it is actually, it plays a very vital role, profound role in bringing the transformation. Since now the pedagogy is also evolved. Now, initially that is the learner centered, that means constructive learning approach to that means going beyond the traditional lecture system to be more learner centric approach, to now it has become to be more more transformative in nature. That is, education is such a platform, is such a enterprise which can bring 360-degree transformation and change in the society. So, education provides a critical link in understanding the connection between sustainability and peace. How the sustainability is such a concept, it is a link, it can be linked to anything in human ecosystem, in human life, and it can be related to our environment, it can be related to our finance, it can be related to our life space, it can be related to any kind. So, it is such a concept how we can relate it to all aspects of our life, all aspects of our ecosystem. So, how it can only, so that education is such a link, education is such a concept which can link, establish the link between sustainability and peace, sustainability and environment, sustainability and financial prosperity, international understanding, global citizens, every kind of thing. So, it sharpens the people's sharpens and builds the people's skill to action, to take action that improve our quality of life now and for the future generations. So, ultimately the goal and ambition and target is how to enhance, how to improve our quality of life for us, for the present generation as well as for the future generation. How can we protect the future, a secure future for our next generation, for our children, as well as at this moment how we can enhance our quality of life. Quality of life is not limited to only the financial gain or economic growth, but etc. Education is actually how to utilize its sustainability, how to use it, how to protect it, how to preserve it. So, this kind of thinking skills, cognitive approach, cognitive and behavioral approach, these strategies actually education can only provide us. So, if the institutions, teachers and the learners in every national context are made aware of and understand this connection between sustainability and peace and in the society and that the social responsibility and how the global peace and sustainability are very well connected, how to establish this connection, how to enhance it, how to work upon it, how to take it seriously, how to behave responsibility according to the universal values and global peace and principles of sustainability, then only we can enhance good our living style, lifestyle, our quality of life, but also we can protect the quality of life of our future generation as well. So, now I want to stop it here. In the next class we will continue the following things. Thank you very much.